Hello, all. So, I forgot to take my microphone to the gym, so I'm going to do a voiceover today. For the workout, I mostly focused on legs, specifically landmine legs. If you guys have been watching the channel for some time, you probably know that my favorite kind of squat is the landmine squat. The reason I like the landmine squat a lot is that you'll notice that as I'm squatting, I'm able to squat at an angle, like uh, like I'm pressing straight. So like a typical squat, you're straight pressing straight up and vertical, but with the landmine squat, I'm pressing straight up, but also a little bit into the direction that the landmine is. That allows me to get a deeper stretch and contraction in the quads. I'm also able to stay on my toes the whole way through a lot more, I guess, naturally, if that makes sense. And like if you notice, my heels are off the floor, so I'm able to experience a lot of load and stretch the muscles in my toes and feet, which is something that I've been focusing on quite a bit over the past couple of years. Um, so I did a couple of warm-up sets. So I did one set with one plate, one set with two plates, one set with three plates, and at each set I was doing 5 reps on each shoulder. The set that you had just watched was 4 plates, and this was my top set of 5 plates. So I have done 5 plates on the landmine squat in the past, but I think it may not have been for 5 reps, or even if it was for 5 reps, it didn't feel as clean and comfortable as it did yesterday. So yeah, this was kind of at least somewhat of a PR in the sense of it didn't feel that difficult. And also, if I remember correctly, when I did it in the past, I only got 3 reps, but I could be wrong about that. Um, but yeah, if you're not someone who does landmine squats or feels sketchy about their knee mobility and knee strength in order to handle it, it is definitely not an easy movement and it has to be worked on. So I've been doing a lot of knee mobility and knee strengthening exercises for the past how many, like at least 5 or 4.5 years, and since focusing a lot on knee strength and mobility through knees over toes exercises, I've become a lot more confident in being able to perform exercises like this that um, some might think are sketchy or harmful for the knee or whatever. But I think the uh, goal is to first get some base level knee mobility and then slowly load it through full range of motion. But yeah, I was quite happy with that. So next I did landmine sissy squats. So it's kind of similar to the previous kind of squat, but I'm stepping much further back and just exclusively bending at the knee. This makes so I don't know if you guys know what a typical sissy squat is, where you're just standing like on a normal floor with no weight usually. You're kind of you usually lean back and bend at the knee uh, to do this really awkward looking squat. It's called a sissy squat, and all the load falls directly on the knees and the quads. So, similar concept, but with the landmine, by stepping further ahead and leaning into it, and focusing exclusively on the bend at the knee as opposed to anything else. I'm able to direct all the load into the quads, and yeah, like again, it's something that requires some working towards if your knees aren't capable of it. And to do that, you can do backwards walking and the sled, or backward sled, or walking backwards up a steep hill, and things like that, in order to work your knees up into being in that sort of awkward position. But once you do that, I think being able to do exercises like the landmine squat and the sissy squat really helps improve quad development. And then I supersetted the landmine sissy squats with hand to hand cleans to curtsy lunges for 5 on each side, just kind of keeping the heart rate going, but also hitting the hamstrings and outer glutes. Um, yeah, and I think curtsy lunges are really good for hip mobility, since that, uh, I guess, cross position um, targets the outer glutes a little better. Then uh, I did uh, Jefferson curls. So I'm using a 62-pound kettlebell on um, the hack squat machine. So the hack squat machine has this inclined surface that I took advantage of uh, to, I guess, get my toes pointed up. What this does is it keeps the hamstrings kind of in a pre-stretched position before I enter the Jefferson curl, which makes the movement a little harder. And as you can notice, like, I'm slowly rounding my back. The idea of rounding your back makes most people apprehensive of doing this movement, but rounding the back in and of itself isn't a bad thing. The key is to start with the resistance that you can handle and then slowly make your way up. So, for example, most people can attempt to touch their toes as a stretch without any resistance, and no one gets sketched out by that, but that is like the base version. And then after that, you can maybe slowly add a 5 pound, then a 10 pound, and gradually over time, you're able to build strength in the back in that rounded position. What this ends up doing is when you do end up in a position while lifting or in day-to-day life where your back is rounded, you're not scared of injury. Is it the ideal position by which to pull anything off the ground? No. So if you want to do a deadlift, you want to have like a rigid, straight back, or mostly straight back, and you don't want a curved spine. But you also do need to train your back in the rounded position, because your back's not always going to, or you're not always going to be able to, brace yourself and keep your back straight and stuff in day to day life. Sometimes things just happen, and so if you're never uh, experienced resistance in that position, sometimes it does lead to injuries. Anyway, I supersetted that with ATG split squats on the inclined surface for 5 on each side, uh, putting some load on the quads and stretching out the hip flexors. Then I finished off with some abs. Did these kind of advanced version of windshield wiper and leg raise. So I did a leg raise, then did a windshield wiper to one side, then back down, then leg raise again, and windshield wiper to the other side. So, kind of holding that. Just leg raise hits a lot of lower abs and hip flexors. the windshield wiper on either side, a lot of obliques, and yeah, just holding yourself up and stuff requires a lot of effort from the core as well. Did that for 3 sets to failure. After that, sat in the sauna for 20 minutes and then head home. So yeah, that's all for today's video. Kind of a quick one, but the workout itself wasn't that quick. But since it's a voiceover, not a whole lot of chatting. In any case, see you all in the next one.